having participated in 24 COPs so far in my life. I encourage you all to pursue. It's a long-term venture. And it's not an easy one, as you all know. I'm going to make a couple of very brief remarks. First is the importance of bottom-up adaptation plans. And I'll share with you the experience of FAS, Foundation for Amazon Sustainability, which is the foundation that I lead. We are 18 years old, based in the Brazilian Amazon, in Manaus. And in the run-up to COP30, what we did was to design a methodology, a very simple methodology, to come up with local adaptation plans. And this methodology was centered around three questions. First, at the community level, ask, what is climate change to you? Well, it's more heat, more flood, whatever. What's climate change? Second question, which are the problems? Quais foram os perrengues, as we say in Portuguese? And the third question, which are the solutions that they think are the most appropriate? So on the basis of that diagnosis, we reached out to 2,000 villages in the middle of the rainforest, and then we did a process of selection, and we ended up with 30 adaptation plans that were considered to be the best, and we're implementing those. The role of FAS is more in the doing mode, to get action. And I think this is something that we need to share more, and I think the network that we are all participating in, I think has an important role in sharing methodologies, sharing experiences. So that's my first message, bottom up and sharing experiences and sharing methodologies. And if any of you is interested in knowing a little bit more about what has been done, I'll be happy to direct you there. Ryan that was with us, she knows a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about. Second question is about funding. Some of you who participated in the previous sessions of this meeting mentioned the funding gap. I think we have to be realistic. Unfortunately, the military escalation that we see today, given the wars in Ukraine, in Iran, and in Palestine, in Lebanon, and in Africa, and there are 60 wars going on right now in the world. This is driving funding from countries like Germany and other European countries away from climate change. So we're not likely to have more concessional funds, unfortunately. So we have to be very pragmatic. We also have to be very pragmatic because Latin America is becoming more and more right-wing, more and more associated with climate skeptics. So we have a very unfavorable political environment. And how to deal with that? I think we have to revisit the paradigms. I think just one thing that I will share with you, but don't have time to go deeper in detail, is the importance of seeing Latin America as a provider of ecosystem services. We have a lot of restoration that can be done. Poor restoration that is done by poor people at the bottom of the pyramid, that can generate income and help reduce poverty, because adaptation is connected to poverty. Those that are the poorest at the bottom of the pyramid are the ones that are most vulnerable. So if we have pro-poor restoration and provision of ecosystem services, that can be part of the solution. The final point is about the means of implementation and delivery. That's an issue that has always been discussed, the means of implementation. I'm very critical of the system that has been designed. If you take the case of the Green Climate Fund, for example, or World Bank, or all the institutions, the international institutions, they are very, very bureaucratic, very high transaction costs, very, very slow. So we need to streamline. We need to speed up because we are in an emergency. The climate situation is an emergency. So I would just also touch on a point, conceptually speaking, which is the role of civil society organizations. I think civil society organizations can play a better role, for the most part, than governments, because governments, they also are very bureaucratic and very inefficient, and also have higher rates of corruption. So I think we, from a strategic point of view in Latin America, we should strengthen networks such as the network that is organizing this session here, the task force, so that we strengthen, we empower civil society organizations to play a greater role. Not to substitute governments as FAS does. Now, FAS doesn't substitute governments. We work with 800 communities on a routine basis, 28 million hectares, a budget of about $30 million US per year, and it's doable. So I think we should have national organizations, local organizations, empowered with capacity building so that they can deliver this action and try to come up with multiple sources of funding. There will not be a big donor that is going to go through whatever process the UN ends up designing. I think there will be multiple funding sources, and we need to be creative, and then we need to share the lessons that have been learned so that implementation becomes real. I'm very skeptical of these big numbers. I remember in Baku, people say, oh, we only have $300 billion. I said, well, if we really had 10% of that, but was real money, and that was tomorrow available in the bank account, that would be something reasonable. But it's 300 flying in the clouds. No one can touch this. So I think we have to be, as much as possible, closer to the ground, close to action, and closer to the community needs, to the priorities, and deliver something that is tangible. Thank you.
Thank you.